Cohesion literally means stick together. The objective of cohesion is whether a soldier will choose to stay and fight with his buddies and face discomfort and danger when given the opportunity or temptation to choose comfort and safety. The extreme measure of cohesion is the willingness to die with your fellow soldiers rather than to leave them to die alone, or to choose certain death by throwing yourself on a hand grenade to save their lives. Bonding within the combat team in itself is a positive combat stress behavior. Working together and under stress to overcome difficulty and the discomfort in order to accomplish a common goal is a good way to building cohesion in a small team. Normally, such bonding requires a long period of working together to become strong. However, the addition of danger and potential death, which can be prevented only by trust and teamwork, by living together for 24 hours a day, days on end, and often weeks on end, that forges the bond much stronger. Combat soldiers describe the bond hesitantly or openly as love. The closest bonding naturally occurs with one's buddy in combat, the only soldier with whom you can share the deepest thoughts and concerns. This bonding will also include other close team members. Some of these people whom a person might have expected and probably did expect on the first introduction to dislike this person intensely due to individual personality differences, ethnic, or even racial prejudices. However, once these soldiers have proven themselves reliable, trustworthy, and competent, they become bonded brothers in arms. Being included in the cohesion does have to be earned by combat performance, but once established, it can lead the team to overlook or even condone other non-combat related faults. Personnel bonding is not enough to produce a good military unit. It is possible to have teams which share very high personal bonding, which are not dedicated to the unit's combat mission. In that situation, the cohesiveness may be directed solely in keeping each other comfortable and safe, such as giving a false report on where you actually have your ambush team set up when you have to call in artillery or air support. On March 21st, 1967, back to what the colonel had said, we were staged at an old French fort. The 2nd of the 22nd was supposed to secure the LZ for us. After fighting all day, they still had not secured the LZ. We overnighted that night at the old French fort. The next morning, the decision was made that we would go into a secondary LZ, which was LZ Gold. Initially, your battalion, the 2nd of the 12th, was supposed to be on that first lift in. We had already boarded helicopters when the word came down for us to disembark and for the 3rd of the 22nd to get on them helicopters. I was standing by the ground control jeep and I listened to the traffic between the helicopter pilots and the ground control. 2 of the helicopters, upon landing at the LZ, had landed on command detonated mines. Every man aboard was killed. All the helicopters were totally destroyed. All the other helicopters had received ground fire. The 2nd lift went in. They also received ground fire. Then it was our turn to go in on the 3rd lift. We all had a funny feeling that we did not really want to get on them helicopters that day. But the thing is that we also knew that we had buddies on the ground. So we therefore got on them helicopters and we went. When we got on the ground, everything was fairly quiet. We helped them establish a perimeter and we spent the night there. The next day, we moved to the west and set up our own perimeter. Early the next morning, we could hear LZ Gold receive heavy mortar fire and small arms fire. While we was getting ready to go to the aids of the 3rd to 22nd, we received incoming fire either from rockets or our own artillery fire and counter mortar fire. They landed directly inside of our perimeter. We left the wounded with the first sergeant and a small detachment to get them medevac later, and we moved out to help the people at LZ Gold. Them brothers from the 3rd to the 22nd were very, very happy to see us come through that wood line because they was getting extremely low on ammo. They had already fallen back to their secondary positions. The artillery had their gun tubes lowered, and they were firing beehive rounds, thus giving us the Presidential Unit Citation at the Battle of Sewage Rate. In late 1965, A Company, 2nd of the 12th, come together as strangers. We bonded together in Vietnam, and the 2nd of the 12th in the 60s, our brothers bonded by combat. In 2000, a few draftees from A Company, the original company in Vietnam, founded the Alpha Association. Through their efforts, all members from the original A Company 2nd of the 12th have been found. And all of us get together every year, thus reinforcing our Band of Brothers relationship. I urge all of you, I know that some are going to go in part different ways, but I urge all of you to try to stay in contact with as many people as you can, because it's going to be very important to you in later life that you can look back and say, I have bonded with that fellow soldier. I thank you and your families very much for your sacrifice that you have all done to keep America free. Thank you.
On behalf of the entire battalion, I want to present you with a small token of our appreciation. As we were tearing down the last major U.S. FOB in Zabul province, we took some steel. We had our Fury company cut it, and we had Sergeant Totten paint it. And what we have here is our battalion crest with your name and your original company and 212 on it as a small token of our appreciation for your presence here tonight. Thank you very much.
I thank you very much, sir.
Thank you.